I hope you enjoyed this video, and many such videos are on the cards. One thing which we need to learn carefully is that the banking industry comprised of so much that you even can't assume of. Apparently or non-apparently, you feel that things are very rosy, the regulators are working for you, but actually the reality is completely different. I'm thankful that I worked in a treasury function of big organizations and I interact with the international bankers, and thanks to someone in the sky for making sure this. And this is the reason I understand these things. Elsewise, I would be one of them who might be ending up reading the books and believing that whatever is being mentioned here is absolutely correct, but that is not the reality. The young generation of today, who is extremely dependent on degrees, certifications, vocational courses, probably online courses, they need to learn that they are far away from reality. And probably this far away from reality is getting more far, which means that, like the Lord Shiva said to Mata Parvati, Mata Adi Shakti, that the more we look outside, like Mahadev said to Mata Parvati, that the more we look outside, the more destruction we will get. And the more we look inside, the more peace, calmness, solutions we get. But unfortunately, what Mahadev, Lord Shiva, Mahadev, said to Mata Parvati is not understood by 99.99% people. And the end result is that the world is looking outside for solutions. And what is that outside? Degree, vocational courses, and all these things. But Lord Shiva said, look inside the solution, guys. And we outrightly missed him. Of course, I spent majority of my times in managing my fund, reading the books, novels, articles, newspapers, magazines, and more videos are on the cards, let it be honest. I don't bother who is thinking me, who is thinking about me, how many views I get on the YouTube, how many comments I get on the YouTube, what is a subscriber base. These all things are immaterial, because you need to learn one thing, that a great book is not always appreciated by all. That is one important thing which we need to learn. But Treasury Consulting is always committed. I repeat, Treasury Consulting is always committed to bring something for the subscribers which no one able to. At the end, I once again challenge the so-called MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, ABS, Association of Banks of Singapore, this so-called director and his deputy, the lady. By the way, I have the business cards with me. Ravi Menon, chairperson MAS. Bloomberg Press. If they feel that they deserve the current designations which they are holding, which I don't think they deserve, let it be honest. That's why I shot this video. Then my number is 9899242978. 9899242978. more revolutionary videos are on the cards. On the cards. Have a great time ahead. Good evening. Like we started that in our all videos, we would be adding a special video whereby we would be covering our messages to the world. And as you very well understand that Treasury Consulting is a very plain speaking company, which means that we hardly bothers what people think about us. And you also understand that we spare a very good amount of money in terms of reading. Now, when it comes to reading, which means that whether they are books, newspapers, magazines, journals, printouts, international subscriptions, and all. Today I'm near about 37. But one thing I'm very clear in my life is that the system in which we are living is completely compromised. Completely compromised. So forget that it is partly compromised, rather, it is completely compromised. And when you read the books, you will see that the level of compromise is growing. Although I am not done with this book, which is The Fix, I'm at near about page number 100, and around 100 pages are pending. And hopefully, in another 1 month, I would be able to make it happen. But this is not the only book which I'm reading. I read lot of books. Just like today also I ordered more than 6 books worth 20,000 rupees total from Amazon. These books covering hedge funds, prime brokerage business, option valuation models, and multiple. Now, if I go to page number 106 of this book, in the very first paragraph, page number 106, it is evident that when evidence emerged that the Bank of England may have pushed Barclays to lowball its LIBOR submissions during the crisis, the UK regulator had difficulty understanding what all the mess was about. In this book, although this book is technically not the right book, because the treasury department, the finance department, the risk treasury department, how exactly it works, it is not mentioned. As we speak, till page number 100, ALCO, which is Asset and Liability Committee. So wherever you go, go to Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citi, any bank, ALCO is the most powerful committee, Asset and Liability Committee. Rather, I can say it is a nerve system of the bank. They are the one who decide the immunization. They are the one who decide the flow of money in the system. They are the one who decide the risk limit in the system. And there are multiple things which they actually decide. But having said that, one important thing which they do for the bank is basically making sure that the level of funds available for each department And of course, all banks are different. Like Goldman works in a different way, JP Morgan works in a different way, Citi works in a different way, all works in a different way. Nothing wrong in that. Absolutely perfect. Alco is the most powerful committee, but at least until page number 105 to 106, I haven't seen Alco. I haven't seen the description. Rather, till page number 105, not a single chart is being presented. Now, why I'm telling you this? It's not about this book. See this book, Lord's Easy Money. This is the latest book which I bought from Amazon, which costed me around 3,000 rupees. The question is not the 3,000. The question is, if you read the books, you will get to know that how exactly the system works. Like till few years ago, I used to believe that Federal Reserve, Bank of England, FSA, FCA, and these regulators are pro investors, which means that they are working to resolve the investor queries. They are working to make sure that investor would feel happy and so on and so forth. But after reading this book, which is the fakes, which is this, you will get to know that the situation is completely opposite of what you are thinking. Rather, it is more opposite. You know, like in this book, it is mentioned that Bank of England pushed Barclays to lower the LIBOR submissions, and not by 1 bips or 2 bips. By the way, there is a very great proverb we have, which is whether you do the stealing of 1 bips or 2 bips or 100 bips or 200 bips or 500 bips, it hardly matters, because at the end of the day, stealing is stealing. Many evidences, according to the author, is being there that Bank of England pushed Barclays to lower the submission. The top brass of Bank of England, selected people, were completely in sync with the Barclays to make it happen. Completely in sync with the Barclays to make it happen. Now, what is the duty of Bank of England? Duty of Bank of England is to protect the environment rather than supporting the cheaters. You know that I take a lot of printouts, and thanks to Google, today I have taken these two printouts, around 120 pages in total. Now, the first is the updated guide on SOFR, Secured Overnight Financing Rate. This guide is by Federal Reserve. Oh, sorry, Federal Reserve. I'm not yet done with this, but page number 13, page number 12, and page number 11, I noticed the major flaws, the technical flaws in this guide. Although I repeat, I'm not yet done. I am reading this guide and I would be making a lot of videos in that regards also. And this, which is SOFR, I am also not done, so no comments as we speak. But the most important thing is the guide, which is by Federal Reserve. How can you, and to be honest, ARRC committee, how can you make this happen? Basically, I fail to understand that. How can you commit that level of mistakes? To cut the discussion short, one thing which we need to learn substantially in the life, that we are living in the world of stupidity. And that stupidity flows from the top. It is not flowing from the bottom, rather it flows from the top. And at the age of 37, one thing I am very clear, absolutely clear, whether this is Indian media, whether this is US media, and specifically the Bloomberg, whether this is Bank of England, now whether this is Federal Reserve, or whether this is FCA, FSA, and many Indian regulators, the system is completely designed to protect few people, including Singapore. I have downloaded a guide of Singapore and I personally studied this guide by MAS, so-called Monetary Authority of Singapore. And I found out various mistakes in this guide. Now, one thing I always fail to learn and fail to understand completely, how come these people, those who are standing or sitting at a regulatory designation, now by regulatory designation I means the people who influence the benchmark rates, how can these people came up in the public with so much stupidity that this level of stupidity is beyond expectation? Now, whether this is Federal Reserve, whether this is Bank of England, you name any big bank of the globe, they are almost involved in all kind of scandals. And the biggest issue is, when you read the book like this, The Fix, you would get to know a trader whose name is known as Hayes. He is being presented as a king. On the contrary, the reality is he used to take a short-term yen position, buy, sell. I cannot explain much on this because this is just a message. He used to take short-term yen position and cover it up by manipulating the LIBOR. Not only by his own bank, which was UBS, followed by Citi, but also the help of the interdealer brokers. But if you read this book, which is called The Fix, you feel like he is a king. And guys, if you go to page number 109, of course, I would be deliberating more on that. It is mentioned FINMA. FINMA is the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority. FINMA. When the banks, like all European banks, in fact, UBS is a Switzerland bank, when they were manipulating the LIBOR, and it was happening rampantly in the system, like all interdealer brokers were aware about this and everything, What the hell FINMA was not aware about this? Was FINMA sleeping at that point of time? Or was FINMA paid appropriately by the system to be silent? But if you look at this book, and specifically page number 109, you will feel that the role of FINMA was defined in just few lines, over, chapter over. This is how it works. And this is how it is going to get work. And Treasury Consulting is a competent authority who can easily challenge these people. And I'm assuring you that in another couple of years, by December 2024, we would continue, or we would reach at this position when we would be bringing a lot of facts to you. And once again, it hardly bothers, I repeat, it hardly bothers for us the opinion of the people that why he is telling the fact. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting. You know my personal number +91 9899242978. But I would like to request Bloomberg to please give knowledge to the authors. Or if they don't have the knowledge, Bloomberg himself, then I am rightly available. Have a great time.